Welcome to A Wheel Thing TV, I'm Dave Knoll. This week we're checking out the 2016 Vitara Turbo from Suzuki. The Suzuki Vitara Turbo, in this particular case, clad in metallic orange and black, looks sensational in that colour scheme. Around the front, a slightly different grille compared to the normal Vitara that we've tested recently. A bit of a query though about why Suzuki haven't actually given any air vents into the plastic. The whole air vent situation is purely and simply that. It's a little bit odd. Anyway, LED driving lights. We've also got some grippy Continental tyres here, and they are a decent size too. 215/55/17s on some beautiful black painted alloys. Very similar to the normal Vitaras, but in this case just a bit of black paint makes a big difference. Same shape of course, and around the back we've got the black and grey valance at the rear. And of course, telling you all about it, it is a Vitara Turbo. What we have is a 1.4 litre booster jet engine from Suzuki. It's turbocharged, 103 kilowatts, 220 newton metres of torque, and in such a small car you think, well, is that torque enough? It most certainly is. Red highlights in the dash dials, going along with the, well, basically same colour scheme as the outside, as you can see here for the events and clocks around. Average economy just under 6 litres per 100, 438 kilometres covered, and as you can see, probably just on still half a tank left, so getting some good economy out of here. Very simple to use, Aircon Controls. We've got the same buried deep, not really easy to use, 12 volt socket and USB. Up here we've got the 4/4 version of the touchscreen. As you can see, we've got smartphone for the apps, which effectively you do need to Bluetooth through. Streaming for phone calls, your map and radio, and that comes up with a very simple, very effective looking little screen there as well. All nice and easy to use. Sounds pretty good, but the sensitivity on the tuner isn't as good as I've seen or heard in other cars, where in certain areas it does drop off quite dramatically. And we've got some highlighted plastic here. Also again letting you know we've got a turbo inside the car. The way that this particular car drives, it's a very linear, like most turbo engine cars are, in the delivery of the torque. Very smooth, very fluid, a 6-speed auto in this particular vehicle as well. It pulls nicely, pulls really well out on the road, even down to the point of when you give it a little bit of welly, you've also got some torque steer that comes through the front wheels. It would be interesting to see how the all-wheel drive version would go with that turbo engine. We've got the torsion beam rear end, McPherson strut up front. Brakes nice, they do need a little bit of heat into them to get some decent grip, which is a little bit of a concern, but not always if you're sort of focusing on what you're doing, of course. But also we've got this beam rear end, as I mentioned, and again it does skip around on certain surfaces and gets a little bit untidy. Otherwise a very fluid ride, a very fluid drive, and certainly a whole lot of fun, and a surprising amount of acceleration given that it is a 1.4 litre engine with 220 newton metres, but it will pull quite nicely. Car is a 6-speed auto. We've got normal drive mode and manual mode. It's not a side-by-side version at all. It's down into here and does give you your paddle shifts, very handily placed of course on the back of the steering wheel. A little bit odd in that we do have this kind of mechanism here in regards to the way that the gears are selected, but it works, and it works quite well enough. Certainly a very fluid drive, a little bit of engine braking on certain downhill runs and you'll feel it actually kick through. And in regards to the actual manual mode, you can see it there. It brings up a little dot that tells you that you're in the right gear, and then will raise a little arrow to say time to change up. Suzuki's Turbo Vitara. It's a great car. I really quite like this. This is the 2-wheel drive version. Pulls well, does have torque steer and bump steer, and also a bit of skipping around with that torsion bar rear end. Inside it's well appointed, very comfortable to drive. Nice fluid handling and a fairly decent 6-speed auto, even will kick in for some engine braking when you're going downhill. For pricing and further details, head across to suzuki.com.au. For A Wheel Thing TV, I'm Dave Knoll.